Hey guys, this is a bit of a tough subject for me to talk about, but I'm gonna get into it in the hopes that we might spark up some discussion on how we can help each other. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you how I managed to get into dentistry after getting B, C, D in my A levels. So my name is Ali and I'm a 5th year dental student now studying at Newcastle, and the reason I decided to make this video was actually to help anyone who's in a similar situation to what I was in back in my A-levels struggling to get into dental school. I got good GCSEs, bar B in English, and at the time I didn't think it really mattered much, but before I knew it I was already behind in this race. Later on I found out that I couldn't apply to dentistry to certain unis with a B in English and that I would have to retake it while I was doing my A-levels. And considering there were like 14 dental schools at the time I was applying, any less and I was already majorly disadvantaged. I remember having the option to retake and make it an A, but I really hated English and some unis didn't even accept retakes, so I just decided to cut my losses and try to do really well in my A-levels. I chose the very typical subjects of maths, bio, chem and physics, and I was so focused on the extracurricular activities, setting up a charity, shout out Yapka if you know you know, volunteering at care homes, finding new friends in sixth form, among loads of other things I can't even remember today. I ended up getting a B, C, D in my AS. And those were basically my predicted grades too, and on top of that I got the lowest score I've ever heard of anyone getting in the UK CAT at 540, so no dental school was going to accept me and I kind of knew that. At the time I thought about giving up and just settling for a course I didn't really want to do, which was mechanical engineering. And I actually applied and got offers, but I just really knew I wanted to do dentistry. To be honest with you, I remember it being such a difficult time in my life, and I would just sit there listening to depressing music in my car, hating life, and I was young and lost and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. And then one day my family sat me down and we had a long serious discussion about what I wanted to do with the situation I was in, and having expressed that I still really wanted to do dentistry, I was really lucky I had a really supportive family who pushed me in the right direction. If you're currently in a similar situation to what I was in, and there's only one piece of advice that I could give you right now, it would be that verbalizing a problem to the people who care about you the most can give you so much strength, and they could help you find the best solution. Because of it, I went back to A2 with a killer mindset that I was going to retake everything from my AS and do my A2 at the same time and reapply after I take a gap year. I remember I was taking on 18 exams while all my other friends just had to do 8. I was working so hard some days it was actually unhealthy. Like I said, I'm not some naturally smart person, but I grind really hard and I would work for like 14 hours most days and lose sleep all the way from September through to exams. Some days I would sleep on the floor because I knew that I would be too tired to get up the next day if I slept in the comfort of my bed. Some days I would lose my eyesight for a few hours and my body would just shut down and force me to take breaks. Looking back now, I really had no idea what working smart looked like, and I really tried to know, but it just wasn't clicking with me, so I had to make up with it with the only way I knew how, and that was with non-stop work. This is obviously the worst way you can study, and in the future we'll be covering how to study smart and be more efficient with your time, so keep an eye out for that. Eventually my A2 results day came around, and I was devastated to find out that I still didn't get the required 3 A's, and I actually only got AAB in the end, which was another blow, especially because I didn't know if it was going to be good enough, if there was anything more that I could do. All I knew is that I didn't want to give up, and on top of that, this time I only got 615 for my UK CAT, which is slightly higher than the previous year, but it still wasn't on the higher end. Like, I knew people who were getting well into the 700s, and I even knew one guy who got 815 or even higher, I can't remember. So the 4 unis I applied to were King's, Queen's, Bristol and Newcastle, and I was rejected from King's and Queen's, and I was obviously devastated, expecting to get rejected from Bristol and Newcastle too. Thankfully, Bristol got back to me inviting me for an interview, but soon after they rejected me as well, and my last chance was literally riding out on Newcastle. There was so much pressure, so much anxiety, and all I could do was wait to hear back from them. Eventually, I got an email saying I got an interview, and the crazy thing is I went up with my best friend who was also in a similar situation to me at the time, and when we got there, it was us two and one other girl, and they told us, "You are the last 3 to be interviewed." The interview went really well, and now I actually know the woman who interviewed me, and she's one of the most lovely people. So when we finished the interview, my friend and I both headed back to the train station towards London, and 20 minutes later, after leaving the uni, we both received an email of acceptance, and as you can imagine, it was the best train ride home. The acceptance was under the condition that we went to a summer camp for their partners program, and if you don't know what that is, I highly recommend you have a look into it if you're a prospective dental student. You can apply for it for so many reasons that you would never expect, and it could be based on where you live, what school you attend, if you're a carer, and so many other reasons. And if your application is successful, you get put on a regular Newcastle BDS course, and I've left a link in the description for the Newcastle Partners Program homepage and eligibility. I highly recommend checking it out because you can apply and all they look for is 3 Bs alongside the summer camp a written essay, and a decent enough UK cap. Just a quick note, I really enjoyed the summer camp. I met some of my best friends from Newcastle there and ended up living with them for 3 years studying a course that I loved, so it's definitely worth it. So anyway, if you're in a similar situation to what I was in, what should you do first? First of all, don't give up. I know it sounds cliche, but if your heart is set on dentistry, do everything in your power to chase it and just be resilient. See if you can retake your AS in your A2 year. Most unis don't allow retakes and expect you to do your A levels in 2 years, and I know it sounds difficult, and it is, and you're gonna have to work really hard, but I can't stress this enough, it will be worth it. Then you want to look into applying to unis which allow lower grades like the Partners program, which include a catch like a summer camp. And finally, if it's worth it to you, I know someone who studies dentistry abroad, and I know I definitely considered the option, but just make sure if you consider it and want to come back to the UK that you have a good look into the overseas registration exam, which will give you a GDC number, which will give you the rights to practice in the UK unsupervised. One of the main reasons we've started this channel was so that we can share these kinds of experiences with you guys and pass on any of the tips that we've gathered along the way. If you're interested, feel free to subscribe and check out our other videos. We'd also really appreciate any feedback you guys have for us, and if any of you guys feel comfortable enough to share your experiences, we might find a benefit from discussing that in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for listening to the very end, and I'll see you guys in another video.